Beth, Aleyse, great to see you both. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for being here with us.
More episodes and a new season of Leverage Redemption. If we're not excited, what are we doing here? Beth, what is that script to screen journey like for you for each season? Is it change? Is it same? Like at some point you read these scripts and then you go into production and you see it come to life. What is that like for you? Is it always the same? Is it a different experience? What was that like?
You know, the joy of our show is that every single episode is its own story, right? And we go into different worlds with different actors and different scenarios. And so each episode is a completely new journey. While we know the formula, we have a structured way of shooting. When I'm directing, I know the pattern, but even then, it's like the episode I directed this season. We were 6 days on location, 2 on stage, and normally it's 4 on stage and whatever. So it's like being able to go out into the city. New Orleans is the best backdrop to be, shooting in. It's got so many choices and so many amazing people to work with. So it's always fresh, it's always new, and that's like part of why I think the show is so much fun to watch too.
Absolutely. Aleyse, my question for you is it's interesting, right? Because this is a show where the audience member is very active, right? And is almost like a detective watching and figuring out each episode. And I know the answer to this usually from an acting storyteller perspective is you try not to do this. So it's no. But I'm wondering, are you ever conscious of the audience member watching Leverage Redemption while you're making it? Or is that something that you think about a little bit more after you wrap, so to speak?
I do think about the audience. I don't maybe think about the audience in terms of I think about the audiences that I represent. So I'm like, if there's a joke here that I'm like, ooh, this would be spicy. Like, things like Riz or this, that, and the third. I never want somebody to be like, not really see themselves as far as my age group goes or my demographic goes, or even, queerness, blackness, gay, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I never want them to be ahead of me. I'm like, I'm with y'all. We're gonna do this on the same page. So I tried to be very active about, being complimentary to the script and the brilliant writers that we have and the brilliant directors that we have, Beth included, and also complimentary to my audience as well. That's really the way I think about them.
Absolutely. Well, Beth, yes, because you are in the show and you're also behind the scenes directing and everything. I'm really excited to ask you this. And I ask these questions too because I'm a filmmaker as well. So these are things I always think about. Conversations really interest me, right, Beth? Because you have a lot of conversations, and sometimes these conversations are pre-production, sometimes these conversations are during production, and a lot of them maybe happen like when you wrap for future seasons and everything. Are there a lot of conversations on Leverage Redemption in general? Is it a lot of conversations like before you actually go on set? Are there a lot of conversations between? Like, I'm just curious because it depends on the show and the journey. But for this one specifically, what's that like conversation wise?
It's nonstop conversations, right? We know there's a million decisions as filmmakers like that go into 1 minute on screen, right? So the mise en scene, you got to make a choice for every single element there, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm shooting an episode as an actor, I get 8 days of prep to prep my directing episode. So while I'm in the episode, I'm also taking nonstop meetings every day.
Mhm.
So it's constant conversations. I set up a desk off set, and then people are awesome about coming to set if I can't make it, to the office or whatever. We Zoom nonstop. I mean, from storyboarding to costumes to casting, it's full on, and it's amazing. It's like being shot out of a cannon, really, but it's also super exciting, right? I mean, you know how it is. You're thriving in this wild chaos in a way, but you're surrounded by the best people, the best at what they do. So it's different from indie filmmaking in that way, right? Because you have the
Yeah.
resources.
It's crazy to think about too, because I find I started like making films and then I just watch things completely different now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, so that kind of like completely different.
totally.
And it's so interesting because I'm wondering if there were like shows or like TV shows or films that I've watched in the past that like maybe now with my filmmaker hat, I'd like them more. You know what I mean? Like, because
For
I'm,
sure.
yeah.
Or have like some more appreciation for the dirt that was on that wagon. You're like,
No,
somebody had to put
100%. Well,
that there.
and like my questions, like, and at least the same with this next question, they're very craft based because I get interested kind of like about, when there's a really cool scene in Leverage Redemption, I'm interested in like the many kind of conversations and little stories that happen to get to that scene, right? So, at least when you get new scripts, and like when you get that kind of call that you're coming back for a new season, I feel like two things going through your mind from an acting perspective, right? Maybe there's more, but the ones that I come to mind are like, what's happening with my character this season and what's happening overall with the whole storyline? Because there might be some things where my character arc isn't involved with like some other big things happening. How do you balance that in terms of the questions you have for the showrunners and directors? Like, because I find they're two different things if you think about it.
100%. I mean, you really, for this show, I find that I have to come in locked and loaded with a plan for whatever. Like, my personal arc should not grab the most attention, but it should be sound. And I'm the shepherd of my own arc. So I have to make things make sense for me. And at the same time, when I get to set, you got to be giving. I mean, this is a show that's based on improv, speed, clever, pivoting when something doesn't work. I mean, I think Leverage is the master of the pivot. Like, and so you have to be able to do both things and split your brain and make sure that you're being complimentary and also that you're being protective of yourself so that you give the best product over to your other actors, to your directors, to the artists, and to the audience,
Absolutely. It's definitely the, master of pivoting. It's definitely the master of genre bending, in my opinion, because I feel like so much is kind of thrown in there. Beth, going back to even kind of the first season, was that evident to you that you were working on a genre bending show even before kind of going to production?
It was such a great surprise, to be honest, because, we read the pilot and you don't really know what's going to happen, if it's going to get picked up, whatever it did. And then when we're in there and you get to play characters within characters, I mean, we're a version of a procedural, but we're not at all the same every time, right? Like you said. So being able as an actor to play a character within a character, all the costumes, all the cons, it is so much fun. It never gets boring. And you're always being presented with something new. I mean, this season, I don't know how many you saw, but this season we go places that we've never gone before, and it's so exciting and it feels global. It feels awesome.
We're definitely seeing kind of banters between characters also that we've not really dived into as much in previous seasons, which is something I really enjoy as well. And I know it's great, and I can't wait for people to see the upcoming season of Leverage Redemption on Prime Video. Beth, Aleyse, so great chatting with you both. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thanks for your great energy.
Of course, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.